season that you did that. Listen, I can't remember a better off season in bodybuilding history than this one, because it was not only like weight.
Yeah,
it was quality weight. And I saw Fouad talking about this also. He's like, man, I never saw somebody get so much bigger with so much quality in such a short period of time. And before we, this is the
that was the first time.
This is the video.
Segredo espelho.
So he said the mirror was the
mirror.
You were with 330
pounds for the first time that year.
149 quilos, pessoal.
Yeah.
Que foi aí que ele começou a chocar o mundo.
No, at this point, people were like, "What the fuck is going on? What's going on?"
Because I remember that first time of getting that, because it just felt like when we started off season, it just kept on growing. And I remember going, because I've been 310 pounds before. I was like, okay, and that was uncomfortable. I was like, okay. So when we started this off season, we just kind of going, and 310 pounds just blew past like nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, not stopping. And then before you know, it was like 315, 320. And it kept on going. And it got to like 325, and it was so uncomfortable. I was struggling to walk. I was like, damn, okay, but it kept on going and going and going.
Yeah.
So when we got to 330, I was at a point where I was like, okay, it was scary. It was like, because even at the time, because now I'm so comfortable with it, but at the time I remember even sleeping, I was struggling to sleep. Because it felt like it was so much weight, and I was struggling to. It felt like when I sleep, I felt like I was about to freaking die in my sleep because I couldn't breathe. It was so much weight, and I was like, okay, this is new. This is something I've never. And even then, when I walk in the streets, everybody stopped and they looked and they were like,
of course,
what the hell is that? And I remember I felt so uncomfortable because it was like summer, August and summer, and I was walking around and I was like, oh crap! And I had to put a jacket on because I'm like, people were stopping going, what the hell? And because people always look at me because you're a big guy, but the first time, it was that stunned look. It was that scary look when they looked at you. That before they look at you, go, "Ooh, that's a big guy."
That's a big guy.
But now they stop and you just go,
"What the hell is this?"
And I looked at them going, "Hey." Now that was the first time I noticed that. Okay, that was a different level.
Yeah.
That was a different level of mass.
Said it's the best thing you can happen for a bodybuilder, right?
Oh man, it was
freak people out.
Freak people out. They walk past, they stop and they look at you like people driving cars. They pull over and they're like, and I was like, okay. I remember one day I went to the city center and I went to get a haircut. And the guy was like, you didn't take cash. He was like, you got to go use the cash machine. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to walk in there. And I was walking through the street and everybody stopped. And I remember the whole street froze and they were just looking at me walking by. And I was like, okay. Did I go to the wrong turn? Well, why is everyone looking? What did I do wrong? And they all stopped and just looking at me like, what the hell? And I was like, okay, this is a new size. This is different. This is something
next level.
This is next level, you know. And it was kind of intriguing because like the first time you get up to that weight, because I know that not many guys ever get that heavy for, 150 kilos.
Yeah, it's not for anybody.
It's not for anybody. It's a hell lot of weight. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, this is a sort of new record, and something I want to be able to stay in and get comfortable with. Now, the first time I did, it was extreme because even when we took my dog for a walk, I was taking a walking stick when I took my dog for a walk, I could, if I stand there for my back and my whole body was aching so much. And I'm like, I can't stand, so I got to hold a walking stick to lean on. And I was like, I remember I ordered a walking stick off the internet. I was like, yeah, I need a way to walk around with this, and it was really uncomfortable. And the first time we do it, it was like, okay, it's a new level of something I've never reached before. And funny enough, since then, every single year that I go back to office and hit that way, every year is just like, okay, more comfortable.
You're getting used to, your body is getting used to.
Your body gets used to it. Now, I come off stage and it's like, okay, the minute I start going back to the gym, like now I'm on a break.
Yeah.
In about 2 weeks, I go back to the gym and be like back on that weight without blinking. Easy. And I'll be on it. I'll be like, okay.
Wow.
And it feels extremely comfortable. And people are like, how you get 330 pounds of it? I'm like, the first time was horrible. The first time was like, okay, that was a lot. Now I do it less food, less effort, less energy. Your body seems to just get used to adapting yourself to that being that big. And it's really weird.
What's crazy sometimes because we interview like every day big athletes here, and you don't breathe like the athletes thing. You have such a good cardio system.
I mean, it's one thing because people probably see me the way I train. Because I came from rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby is like, you have to be a big guy, but you have to be cardiovascularly fit as well. Right. So you have to be very explosive. You got to be able to run very fast, stop, catch your breath and run again. So my training was basically that. I try to bring that sort of style of explosive training, but fitness into training. So when you see me in the gym, people are like, oh, you do a lot of supersets and you do a lot of high intensity. I'm like, yeah, because I don't do loads of cardio in the off season, I train in that way. So the whole time I'm training is my heart rate it's fast.
Very intense, yeah.
And the minute I catch my breath a little bit, okay, I'm going again, next set. So I have that very high intense training. I'm very like that. And that enables you to put on, to be a big, but yet have great cardiovascular fitness and make your heart being able to keep up with.
It really impressed me. I think you're going to be here like breathing like a bulldog. Because we have a guy's here that I'm like, push the mic a little bit further. Just people in the chat is like
he's breathing. We can hear him breathing from here.
Só que vários passam mal, que ficam suando.
Yeah, a couple of them will start like sweating. I'm like, bro, you're sitting down. You're good. You know.
But it's something that it's taking time to do it because I've been through that stage.
Yeah.
I've been through that stage where you're carrying so much mass and you feel that uncomfortable and you feel like that and. There's a level of that, but at the same time where it's like, for me, bodybuilding isn't just about looking bigger and fitter and everything else. You're supposed to be embodiment of fitness. So you have the ability to not only look fit, but be fit.
Yeah.
So your cardiovascular, you have to be functional as well. You can't just be all muscle and nothing else. So that's why, the way we train, the way we kind of catered me is the ability to be able to, have that cardiovascular system to carry that much muscle around. So when I'm 350 pounds, I don't want to be walking around. People are like, oh man, he's big, but he can barely walk.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to pass out in a minute. I'm like, no, I want to be able to walk around. Like, hey, he can jump, he can run. So I want to be able to sort of imbalance that whole physique all the time.
Yeah. Hybrid athlete, right?
Yeah, and this is it.
Not so much,
but to be 300 pounds, to be able to jump, to be functional at the same time. So it's something that you don't really see, and that's something I want to sort of make sure that it can be done.
And Simpson, going back to your off season, what you did different that you weren't doing in other off seasons to have such an evolution in such a period of time?
It's understanding my body, man. Because like bodybuilding, people don't understand. People always say, "Oh man, they want this guy. He needs to put on 10 pounds. He needs to put on 10 pounds. Why is he not growing? Why is it?" You don't understand. Bodybuilding is about learning. You have to learn how your body works and how it. So I remember that off season. The way I trained changed. The way I ate changed. Everything had to change. Before it was always the case like, okay, you got to eat 7,500 calories a day. How do you manage that? Normally people are like, okay, I'm going to eat loads of pizzas, junk food, make that calories.
Calories, yeah.
But not 2 calories are the same. Eating 1,000 calories of burger and eating 1,000 calories of white rice and chicken, it's different. Your body uses that more functional. Your body able to metabolize that better than if you're eating junk. Yeah. So when we came in that off season, it was like, okay, I got to eat a lot of food, but it has to be food that my body can actually use. It can't be junk. So when we put that in and then you maximize that with the kind of style of training of doing a high intensity training like that, you're giving your body all the tools. And this, we just know worked for me. And the minute I could subsidize those two, we looked at me going, you just keeps growing. It almost feels like there's no limit to what your body can do at this point because now you're taking the two things that your body needs, which is great nutrition and very high intense training. And you're bringing those two together into this one dynamics and it just seemed to click. And when we figured that one out, it was just like, okay. So now every year they say, how'd you put on size from show to show? How'd you go without taking a break? I'm like, that's how we do it. And we were like, no, it must be something more. I'm like,
what's the secret? Come on.
And I was like, but have you tried it?
Yeah.
No, because I would say, guys, come train with me. Come experience the way I train. And, 2 workouts in, you see them already.
Yeah. Come try to feel my shoes.
I can't breathe. I was like, that style of training works because not only are your body able to metabolize great food, but your body is able to stay healthy while putting on a lot of tension, a lot of mass on at the same time. And it's hard.